summit been? Whirlwind, right? Have you been running from one session to the other trying to get into all of this content, haven't you? Yeah? You had lunch? How was lunch? That's good. Okay, yay. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us at this session. I'm Kay Dexter. And I have my subject matter expert, Wendy. Yes, all the way from Dublin, Ireland. I mean, we get the best. We go across the pond, right? So we're here today to talk to you about the ABCs of social media marketing. Now, you may think to yourself, what exactly is that? And am I going to be able to do that for my business? Well, you are. We're going to give you the tips and tricks on what to do as it relates to social media marketing for your business. So just a little bit about me. You're going to get this presentation post the summit, so you'll be able to, make your notes and references. But just a little bit about me. I actually work for Sage, so does Wendy, but I am a product marketing manager for the startup segment, which means that I deal with all of those startup businesses who have decided to take their passion, jump out into the wild of being an entrepreneur. So I actually market Sage 1 and Sage 50. You all saw those products today at the keynote, right? Take advantage of that. Make sure you visit the booth and see those products live. A little historical fun fact about, well, my family. I'm taking it from my brother. He's a starving artist, and he was recently inducted in the Smithsonian African American Museum, one of his paintings. So I'm kind of taking credit for that, since I do help him market his business as an entrepreneur. So I just put it on my little slide, like, as a historical fun fact. He'll get me later, I'm sure. Want to tell you a little bit about Wendy. So Wendy is our global social media and content manager. She works with all of the individual teams across the globe. She's also a runner. And a little fun fact about her, she never travels with her running shoes. Now, these aren't running shoes today, but before Wendy got on the plane, she literally just finished a 26.1 mile marathon for cancer, 26.2, yes. Those extra mile, that extra 0.2 costs, doesn't it? Right, Wendy? For cancer research. So I think that's awesome. And hopefully by next year, you'll be training me, so that then I can put that on my fun fact, right? Right? All right, perfect. And also, another fun fact about her, or a fact about her, is she's actually from Holland, but lives in Ireland. I mean, globetrotter, right?
It was very close.
It's very close, so yeah. All right, so let's get started. The ABCs of social media marketing. We're going to tell you exactly, she's a subject matter expert, but we're going to tell you how you can do this. A lot of times we think about social media and we're thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be just astronomical for me. How am I going to do this? You got to have a website. You got to have a Facebook page. You got to have a Twitter account. Now there's got something called Snapchat. What am I supposed to do? I have no idea. What content? How do I market my business? And you see the big boys, the Fortune 5s, they actually are doing this social media marketing. Well, for small business, small and medium-sized businesses, you can do the exact same thing. And we're going to give you those tips on how to do that, okay? All right, Wendy, take it away.
So to start off with the ABCs of social media marketing, we actually have an A, a B, and a C. Excuse me? You can't hear me? It is on. Oh, sorry, guys. Is this better? Yeah?
Better? Okay,
great. So we have an A, we have a B, and we have a C when we talk about social media marketing. And the first one I want to talk about is the A. So when you get started with social media marketing, it's not a matter of just putting some content out there and having profiles and you've done that and you're ready. It starts with understanding who are the people that you want to reach. And the question that I get asked very often is, which are the social media channels that I should be using for my business? Should I use Facebook or should I use Instagram? I can't answer that question for you. it's up to you to find out where your customers are. So listen to your customers, listen online and see where they are. Are they active on Instagram? Are they active on Facebook? And that's where you should be. And it's all about understanding the people that you want to reach. Because from the moment you understand where they are active and what they talk about, your life is going to be so much easier. Instead of focusing on 5 different channels, you can focus on one channel where all your customers are, and you can create content that is interesting for them because you understand who they are. So when you start with social media marketing, start without a laptop or a computer, start with a piece of paper and write down what you know about your customers and prospects. What are they interested in? What are they doing? When do they have actually time to look at your content? So if you want to reach, well, let's take Sage as an example. We want to reach all of you guys, but you work during the days. So if we want to reach you, we probably have to reach you early in the morning before you start work, or in the evenings when you have time to spend time on your mobile phone, to look at your social media. So for us, the mornings and the evenings are really important. And it's the same for you guys. When you think about the people you want to reach, when are they active on social media? And as I said, listen to what they talk about and see what type of content they like when they use social media. So before you even get started on social media, take a piece of paper and just make a persona, as we call that in marketing terms. And identify who are the people you want to reach, what do they think about, what is in their interest, how do they spend their day. And then we go on to, oh, can you go back to,
Oh, no,
sorry,
all right, cool. Yeah.
So when we, so as I said, so we look at who is our audience, first of all. Then we look at where are they active, so which channels do they actually use. Then we look at what are they talking about. So instead of us just start to broadcast, it would make sense to understand what they talk about, so we know how we can engage with them and what type of content they actually like. And then try to find content that they actually want to engage with and interact with people. So instead of broadcasting, make sure that you interact with people. And then we go over to the B. So make sure when you work on social media marketing that you know why you do it. Because what is the value of having followers on social media? What are you going to do with them? Because if you want to get followers, you can buy them quite easily. You can buy millions of followers if you want. They're not going to help you to grow your business. They're not going to buy your products. So before you even think about starting with social media, it is really important that you ask yourself the question, do you want to use social media for awareness? Because you want to get your name out there, you want people to know about your business, maybe because you just got started, or you feel like you need more brand awareness? Or do you want to use social media to build a community, just to grow a community of people who like your products and services, who like to communicate with each other and like to engage with each other and have conversations? Or do you want to use social media to drive leads? At Sage, of course, we use social media a lot to drive leads because we want to find new customers. But we also use social media to build a community, to help all of you to be successful with your business. But for us, it's really important that we know why we use social media. So we identified our objectives before we start to use social media marketing. So lead generation, maybe you want to find new customers using social media. And when you're in a business like Sage and you work with leads and with bigger clients, so they have a longer sales cycle, you probably have a different approach than when you sell products that are less expensive and people will buy straight away online, which we call e-commerce. So those are two different objectives. Driving leads or e-commerce are two completely different objectives that ask for a different approach on social media. So think about this. Why do you want to use social media? And if you want to get followers, what do you want to do with them? Do you want to educate them about your product and services? Do you want to build a community with them? What is it that you want to get from those followers? Is it so much more valuable to have 100 followers that can turn into customers than to have 10,000 followers that are not interested in your business at all?
Right, so real quick, Wendy. So at this point, you're still using your competition notebook, you're on your piece of paper.
Yeah.
You have not posted anything,
No.
You have not chatted or tweeted or sent out a picture about anything. At this point, you're all in your strategy mode, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Understanding those business objectives objectives,
Yeah.
understanding who your audience is, and understanding whether or not what the purpose is. How are you going to get to and or target who you need to target?
Exactly, yeah.
You have not opened a device or
No,
anything.
no, we're still on that piece
We're
of paper.
still on that piece of
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah, and then the good thing is when you know what you want to do with social media, you can measure. Because everybody always tells me, well, I can't measure the success of social media. Well, actually you can. Because if we talk about awareness and more knowledge around your brand, you can measure that based on impressions and engagement and reach. When we talk about community, we can measure if we actually grow the community and if we get engagement in that community. And when we talk about lead generation, we can measure the amount of leads that come in and the quality. And when we talk about e-commerce, we can talk about business, like what's the revenue you get out of social media. So it is really important to ask yourself the question, what do you want to get out of social media?
All right, thanks.
And then we go to C, the content. So it is really important that you share content that actually gives you those results. So we just talked about the objectives. Now we talk about you have your online presence, so you have your social media profiles, you know where the people are you want to reach, and you know what you want to get out of it. Then it all comes down to sharing the right content. Because if you only start to talk about your products, you're going to be very boring on social media. Nobody likes to listen to companies who only talk about themselves, how great they are and how great their products are. As well, let's be honest, we all think that our products are the best. That's why we sell them. That's why we believe those are the right products. But that's not what people are looking for. So good content, and I made an overview of 6 types of good content, and that's based on the experience that we have within Sage, but it's also based on research that has been done by Facebook and LinkedIn. We speak a lot with those companies because we, Sage, of course, wants to improve, and the best way to improve for us is to speak with the platforms to understand how content resonates with our users and how we can improve as a business. So I would like to share the 6 types of content that work really well across the different social media channels. And the first one that we have is advice, and advice is extremely important for us at Sage. We believe that if we want to share content, we should always add value to all of you. And that's why we say that when we share content, it should be focused on support and advice, so people should learn from us. When you start to follow the Sage accounts, you will learn about how to grow your business, you will learn about social media, you will learn about accounting, you will learn about everything you need to be successful with your business. So that's one type of content that works really well for Sage, but that also works very well for other companies. As I said, this is based on LinkedIn and Facebook research as well.
Next one is triggers.
Triggers, exactly. So content that really works well is content that is driving interaction with people. So you see an example of a piece of content that we shared where we asked people to share an emoji in their response. And when you ask people to answer a question, they will answer a question because people are keen to share their opinion. So if you ask people, do you like the black dress or the red dress, people will tell you what they actually like.
Right.
And it's,
They will.
it really works. And the good thing about this is, when people start to engage with your content, you're going to reach more people, and people will feel involved in your business. They feel like they're part of your business. They feel like they're having a real human-to-human conversation with you, instead of us just broadcasting content and not having an interaction. Then the third part is emoji. And emoji is emotions. It's so important. Because you all have a business. Who here has a business or runs a business or is involved in a business? I think all of you. And every business has a story to tell, right? We all started for a reason. And we all have a story. Maybe it goes back 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Maybe it only goes back 3 weeks because you just started. But you have a story to tell. You have an emotion behind your story, behind your company. And we see that content that has that emotion on it. Think about your own Facebook feeds. What type of pictures get the most likes? Babies, wedding pictures, engagement.
Animals, pets, cats, dogs.
It's all about
All about that emotion.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're a business owner, you're probably not going to you're not going to share a lot of content about a wedding, of course, but you can still think about what resonates with people. How can I trigger that feeling with people? How they feel like they're recognizing it. They feel like they're part of it.
With it. Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just, especially when you think about the fact that on Facebook, we as business owners or people who work for businesses, we're not only competing against our competitors, we're competing against family and friends of the people we want to reach. Because people spend time on Facebook looking at what their friends post and the perfect holidays they have and our friends who get married. So it is very important for us as people who drive businesses that we are aware of the fact that we compete against those wedding pictures. We're not even talking about our competitors, we're now talking about getting 3 seconds of people's attention. And the only way to get that is by sharing content people actually want to like, that people want to interact with.
Yeah. The one thing I think I'll point out here is on the advice, the first little nugget. If you are, as it relates to your content, if you're providing that advice versus selling your actual product or service, then you can become or be almost like an expert in whatever your service and or product that you're providing is, without actually selling it, i.e. infomercial selling it. Hey, I do this, but if you're actually giving advice, then you're being seen as someone credible, someone trusted, that then the person, your prospective client, will want to do business with. So I think that's a great one, to keep in the forefront of your mind as you're thinking about what your strategy is on social media selling, the social marketing piece of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we see that advice content is getting more and more popular. It's when we talk about personal branding. So when you're a business owner and you want to build your personal brand, because you want to build that human-to-human connection with people, because we like to buy from people. It's all about first giving to people, so first giving knowledge and advice and experience before we can take, before we can
receive. Yes,
exactly, before we can expect customers.
Exactly.
And what we do right now, we're doing a Facebook Live from our Sage Facebook account with this phone. So you see, it's very simple to do. But what we want to do is we want to give all of you this presentation and the knowledge, but we also want to give this to the people who are not at the summit.
Right.
So we're giving to people. We want people to get knowledge from us and hopefully trust us enough to become our customers.
Absolutely. All
so
right.
we go on to number 4, which I think is one of your favorite ones,
I love
right?
the tribe, the whole tribe. Creating that tribe of people that will ultimately follow you, trust you, and then speak for you, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think the good thing about you as business owners, and it's the same for Sage, we focus on a niche group of people, because that's your target audience. So if you create content, and let's take running as an example. I'm a runner, and I really like to read content about running. So I will be more likely to engage with content that is about running than about any other sport. So when you know a bit more about your customers and you know what's in their interest, and you can share content that resonates with them and is more specific to a smaller group of people, you will build more engagement because people feel like you're talking to them instead of to everybody. Because when we talk to everybody, we basically talk to nobody.
Right.
So
that's true. Very true.
And then number 5, practical value. That's what we're doing right now. So I'm giving my thoughts, my knowledge, my experience to all of you. You can do exactly the same. You can do a live Facebook video or Instagram video if you like, where you talk about your business, but not in a way where you're going to sell the product, but where you give people very practical tips. And the one example that I always use when I talk about this one is, how do you open a banana? It went viral on Facebook. Somebody made a video where they showed that you open a banana actually upside down, at least that's what I thought I was seeing. And because it was such practical value, it was like very simple tips to make our life easier, it went completely viral. Because that's what people like to share with their friends and with their family, and because they like to take a bit of advice and share it with other people. So it can be the very simple things that can help you to reach a lot of people.
And stories.
Yeah, stories.
Storytelling.
Yeah, that's something else we love at Sage, and that's something which is a massive opportunity for all of you as well. Storytelling. So when we talk about social media, it's all about telling stories, because as I said, we like to interact with humans, and we like to watch, read, or see stories. You all have a story to tell. And that's not a story of 3 minutes. That's a very, very complex, long story. Because it's a journey to start a business. It's a journey to maintain a business. It's a journey to grow. That's just one example of storytelling. But it's really important when you think about content creation that you think about stories. So when you want to tell people something about your product, don't just say, hey, my product is great, but tell a story around the product. Why did you come up with the product? How is it made? What's the journey of an idea to becoming a product? And then try to involve people. So maybe you work on a new product, ask for people's opinion, and show them that you actually used their opinions and their input by sharing the journey and the story of how the product developed even further.
Any questions thus far? Anybody have any questions, or you guys are all taking feverish notes, right? All right. Okay. All right. We'll go to the 411 rule.
Yeah, my favorite rule when it comes to social media. So whether you're building your personal brand or you're like us, you're building your company profiles and you try to find new customers and new prospects and you want to sell your products, we talked about adding value, and as Kay said, it's really important that you first build that trust with people. So when I talk about sharing content, whether you do this 6 times per week or 6 times per day, there's no wrong or right. That depends on the platform you use, it depends on the goals you have with social media. It really depends on a lot of things, so I'm not going to go into that, but whether you share 6 pieces of content on a day or a week, it's really important that you find a nice balance between the type of content you share. So 4 times you're going to share content that is adding value to people. And that type of content are all the examples that we just showed, so the 6 different types of content. And this content is going to help to build that trust. So when you share a lot of content that is not about yourself or about your business, but it's adding value to people, people will start to trust you, they will read it, they will consume it, they will learn about you because they know it's your content, so they will start to engage with you and they will take all the knowledge that you share with them. Now, one piece of content is about you as a person or about you as a person in a business. So that is a behind the scenes picture, or that is a picture of you being here at the Sage Summit. That could be anything, and of course it depends on the platform, because LinkedIn is a bit more professional, so you probably don't do a real selfie like you would do on Instagram. It could be a photo here at Summit, but then maybe in a wider group of people or something that would resonate on LinkedIn. And as I said, on Instagram it could be more personal, but it's a picture or a piece of content that shows the human behind the business. And then one piece of content out of the 6 is about the products or the services you try to sell. And the good thing about this is that when you share 5 pieces of content that are not talking about your product or services, and you share the piece number 6, and people already engaged with the other ones because it was really interesting, there's a really good chance they're going to click on link number 6 as well, which is going to send them to your products. And if you only talk about yourself, that will never happen, because you'll be very boring. So 5 pieces of content are going to help you to build that relationship and to show people the human behind the business and to give people knowledge, experience, thoughts, everything. And one piece is about your business, where you're going to drive leads, where you're going to sell your products, whatever your objective is. And of course, when we talk about awareness, that piece number 6 will be a bit different from driving leads and inquiries, but that really depends on your objectives.
So Wendy, at this point, are you still on the piece of paper, or
No,
you have now transitioned to the actual individual profiles?
Yeah.
You've set everything up, and you're kind of creating a schedule of how and when you actually need to post content by using the 411 rule, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and then don't be afraid to schedule content. It's completely fine to schedule 80% of your content. make sure that you still have that live bit of content in it as well. Interactions with people, pictures of something that is going on right now, live video content.
Louder? Okay. All right. I guess put it right. Try to see if you can put it right here. Okay.
So, is it better?
Is it better? Okay.
Okay. So, what was I saying?
Will this one work? Or no?
Make sure that...
No, we were talking about scheduling and, that it's okay to actually schedule because there are tools and applications out there that will allow you to schedule the content to actually be posted automatically. But you have to use the content, the actual 6 individual components to schedule that content, making sure that you're doing 4 times support and advice content, once product and or service, and then making sure you have that human contact and interaction, right? So it's perfectly fine, like you were saying, to use those schedules.
Absolutely, yeah. And as I said, 80% of your content can be scheduled and can be done even weeks in advance. Maybe not ideal, but if you're a business owner and you have a million things to do, I understand that social media doesn't always have enough space in your schedule to be working on. So if you have good blog posts that are ready, if you have videos that you would like to share, you can schedule those in. That's completely fine. It's just really important then when your content goes out and people interact with it, that you interact with those people. Right. So it's not a matter of scheduling your content and then close down all your social media channels and do something else. Of course that's fine, but make sure you check in maybe 3 times per day, in the morning, during lunch and in the afternoon, to see if people reacted on it, if they liked it, maybe they shared it, and make sure that people see that you saw their reaction by at least liking it, but ideally respond to it and have conversations with people. So that's absolutely fine. So there's one thing that is really important when we talk about social media in general. And we talked a lot about content, and of course the quality of your content is really important. But one thing is even more important, and that's listening to people. So this is something you should do on a very regular basis. It's not just, okay, I know what they want, so now I can schedule for a whole year and I'm done. People change and the social media landscape changes as well. And I think it's a good thing, but it's also a challenging thing that tomorrow there can be a new social media network. Tomorrow there can be a new feature. I mean, we all know what happened with Instagram when they launched stories. I mean, that was a massive change. And that means for you as a business owner that you have to listen again to where are your customers, where are your prospects, are they using the new feature or not at all? Are they changing from platform to platform? So before you continue to create content, make sure you check to see if you're still on the right platforms and that you're still having the right message out there. And then listen to the reactions you get on your own content as well. That helps you to create new content. If you see that something works really well, another piece of content doesn't work at all, make sure that you create more of the successful content and don't continue to create content that you think is nice but nobody interacts with. So what you see here is first listen, then interact, and that's where the magic happens. So listen to people and have conversations, and then you can really start to get your objectives out of social media. And this goes across both organic and paid social media. And everything we talked about is not only organic, but also paid social media. And whether you're a small business or a big business, whether you have a small budget or a big one, the key for success on social media does not always relate on the budget you have. It relates on listening, interacting, and sharing the right content and engaging content with people. I can spend $1 million on social media without getting any results, and other people do a brilliant job with a very small amount of budget or even without a budget and be extremely successful.
Awesome. Any questions? No questions? Thank you. You have a mic? Yes, it's on. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
How do you find out where your audience is? Like you're saying, you want to find out where your audience is, what time of day, all that kind of stuff. How do you ascertain that?
So there are a couple of ways to do it. First of all, have conversations with people. So speak with your customers and ask them, hey, do you use Instagram or do you use Facebook? Search for them, so see if they have profiles. And you don't have to do that for all your customers, but if you take a small group of your customers and just identify where they are active, and even if you don't want to do that, there's a very easy way to do it, which we call A/B testing. You can share content across all the different platforms and see what happens. So if you share something on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter and on Pinterest, and you see a lot of reactions coming in on Facebook, that's probably the place to be for you. It's the same if it happens on Instagram, of course. And to answer the question of at what time should you be posting, when are they there, that's really a matter of testing, and that's something at Sage that we think we cracked it, but then it changes completely, and we see a post goes out in the afternoon and we get a lot of engagement. So it is very difficult to get that one answer, and social media has a lot of testing, and it's a never-ending process basically. It's just one thing I think is really important as well is find a platform that you like yourself as well. There's no reason in forcing yourself to use Instagram if you don't like it at all. Yes, if your customers are there, it is an important platform, but if you use it and you really don't like it, your content is probably never going to be really nice. And if you like Facebook a lot, you can make a Facebook business page where you present yourself as a business. But yeah, still in the end, if you're not getting the value out of it, I would not recommend to continue with it. But there's not one clear answer as in this is where you're going to get all the answers. There's a lot of testing, a lot of seeing what works and what doesn't work. And yeah, as I said, it can change tomorrow. I mean, we're doing Facebook Live now because Facebook is really important for Sage at the moment. We see that a wide group of the audience that we try to reach is on Facebook, but that can be over tomorrow. And then we have to start all over again, and we have to find that next platform. And of course there are trends going on, and we can see that Instagram grows, so that rings a bell for us that we need to be there, that we need to start building a presence. But yeah, those things can change in a day.
Any other questions? Or okay, right here. Thank you for helping us, Ambassador.
CEOs are under a lot of pressure from boards to increase top line revenue, and that pressure gets pushed down to the CMO, which gets pushed down to the digital ops team.
Yes.
And sometimes that can kind of run counter to the rule you posted to, you know, share advice, blah, blah, because they're like, look, I want followers, I want engagement, I want this, and I want it by next Friday or you're fired. So how do you navigate those conversations?
I love this question. Because at Sage, it's all about lead generation,
yes,
of course, as well. So we're in a very similar situation as you are. And what we do, when we talk about lead generation, so content that is very, very focused on driving leads, driving business, we only do that on paid social media. So we run campaigns for a very specific audience, and we take an audience that we think is going to buy our products. And that can be for several reasons. We have a new product, Sage Live, which is built on the Salesforce platform. So we identify an audience of Salesforce users, and we serve them ads where we say, hey, we have this great product built on the Salesforce platform. We know you use Salesforce, and this is going to help your business. So we expect to get leads from that. So we identify different groups of people, and we serve them ads where we try to drive leads, drive business, drive revenue. So we have a wide group of activities to drive all of that. And then from our organic channels, we only focus on support and advice and all the content we just shared. And we measure engagement, the growth of our community, so the growth of followers that we have. We measure interactions, we measure basically everything around that. And when we present this to the CMO, whoever wants to see those figures, the high-level people, we tell them, look, this is the amount of people we reached, so the amount of people that know about us, that have seen our content, that have engaged with our content organically. This is the group of people that we reach with paid, And with paid, we also drive awareness, because awareness is still important if you want to get leads at some point. So we take a part of our budget that we spend on awareness, where we say to our C-level people, listen, this is the amount of people we reached with this amount of budget, this is the amount of people that actually engage with it, this is the amount of people who watch the video, so know a bit more about Sage. And then we have our part where we say, hey, and we drove a couple of campaigns to drive leads, this is the amount of leads we got out of it, this is the amount of inquiries, this is the amount of direct business we drove from social media. So instead of sharing one piece of information, we share everything together as one dashboard. And that is paid and organic working together.
Right.
Is that answering your question?
Now, let's take that question to the solopreneur who is every day out there trying to make sure they get clients. How does that paid, the difference between paid social versus organic, how do they do that in that solopreneur space, or not having a CMO, or them being the CMO, right?
Yeah.
Because that's really, there's a lot of people, how many have less than 5 employees? Less than 2 employees? Solopreneurs, by yourself, exactly.
Yeah.
So help them on that ABC level understand how they should
Absolutely,
be.
yeah. So when you have organic followers, people who follow you on your company pages, you don't really know who they are. It's very difficult, especially when you go into the thousands of followers, to know who those people are. So when we look at Sage, we don't know if you're like you guys, a solopreneur, or you're an enterprise. You could be following us. So we decided to share organically content that is interesting for everybody. So support, advice, how to grow your business, which is interesting for you, but also interesting for an enterprise business. And then we use paid social media when we know who we target. So if you want to sell your product into a specific group of people, you can use paid social media to identify those people based on targeting, based on lists that you can upload into the different platforms, based on lookalike audiences that you can build. That is like social media marketing when we talk about advertising. So when you run this all by yourself, I would say when you create content that you're going to share from your pages to your existing followers, and when this is really good quality content, you will get new followers anyway, because they're going to share it and they're going to reach a wider audience. You focus on that, and when you then have a bit of budget that you want to use to run ads, you're going to do that for a very specific group of people. So instead of trying to reach everybody, you're going to focus on a small group of people, and you know exactly who they are because you know where they live, you know their age, you know what they're in their interest, and you're going to create content that resonates with them. Is that helpful?
All right.
Yeah, of course.
So essentially, are you saying, because I always believe that on social media, because we don't own any of those followers, like my number one goal is to convert them into a lead.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to convert them, or are you saying I am? But also then with the, I know another great thing that you can do, like with Facebook, is like, let's say they happen to go look at my website, I can target those people who've actually checked out my site. So is that something that you're saying to do? Not necessarily always trying to convert them into a lead, but I say free is leads and then pay is coins. So contacts for free, and then for the pay you get the money. Right.
Well, that's a good question, because when you create content based on the six pillars we talked about, all of them should have a CTA to your products, of course.
Yes.
So you still want to convert those
Call
people.
to action, CTA, call to action.
Yeah, you still want to convert them, of course, yeah. When we talk about tracking people who went to your website, then we go into the paid space. So we know a bit more about those people because we know they've seen our website, so we know that we can send them a message. When we talk about advertising, we can send a piece of content that is based on the fact that they've seen our website, so they know a bit about us. So yes, absolutely, when you share content organically, so that to your free followers, it should be interesting, engaging, it should be shareable for people, but it should always have that call to action to your products, because at the end you want to sell. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So thank you all so very much for being engaged and listening. I know it was a little hard and difficult to hear us, but obviously we are Facebook Live. Hey! So it actually will be posted on the actual Sage Facebook page, so you can go back and listen to it, and hopefully you can hear us. But one of the things that we need you to do is make sure you've downloaded the Sage Summit app. How many people have downloaded it already? You're using it? All right, perfect. So we want your feedback. We want to know whether or not this session was really relevant for you, any additional content or any additional sessions that we need to offer you. We would like for you to go online or on the website, or excuse me, on the app. I'll get there eventually, right? On the app, and actually give us that session feedback. The number is here, AL651, and hopefully we will see you all tomorrow at the Create an Online Presence. How do you as a business owner create an online presence? That's tomorrow at Thursday, 12:30, I think it is. Yes, in the Learning Commons area. I believe it's 103.
Yeah.
So join us there. Have an awesome summit. George Foreman is here tomorrow. Get there early. The entire hall for the keynote was filled today. People were standing up against the walls. If you want to see George Foreman, you need to get there early, okay?
And if you have questions
Champ,
afterwards, I
we're
will
here.
stick around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so